With this, we move on to our last session for the day, which would be followed by a high tea. The session is AVGC technologies for the future. We would be showing few reels. Audience are requested not to take pictures or record the reels. The content showcased due the course of this session is proprietary and not approved for usage by anyone else. We hope you would enjoy what we have lined up for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who missed this last session should please do so at your own risk. Because if you miss this last session, you will be irrelevant before the next Monday morning. That's all I wanted to say to you. And if you become irrelevant by the next Monday morning, then competition is waiting to take over. So please be here.
Wacom India Private Limited and Mr. Samit Shetty, Technical Solutions Manager, M&E, Autodesk India and SAC. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. I think that was one of the coolest software programs that I'd seen in a long time. So I'd not seen it before. So thank you. Well, thanks again, CI, for having us, and thanks audience for being patient enough to stay on, and thanks Biren for that booster. For that, you'll get obsolete if you don't stay and attend the session now. Okay, so interesting topic, one very close to my heart, but what we are talking about as AVGC technologies for the future, I would like to maybe kickstart by showing a couple of our recent work. One recent, one not so recent in the last couple of years in the most sought about buzzword of today, which is AI and generative AI. Can we have those couple of ads being played out, please?
The world has changed, and life has changed. So we ask, what's priceless to you?
Me preguntaba, ¿encontraré mi lugar? ¿Le gustará como juego? ¿Extrañaré lo que dejé atrás? Pero si hay algo que aprendí, es que mientras hagas lo que amas, las cosas que no tienen precio te siguen a todas partes.
Amo el fútbol.
Yo también.
MasterCard, proud sponsors of UEFA Champions League. Proud sponsors of what's priceless to you.
So if AI is the Wild West, well, who's the sheriff around here?
Thank you. Thanks. So the three quick examples to show where we are heading. I mean, as one of the consumers for three technology and software giants around, I think we can say as more and more work comes our way, the future looks how do we optimize and use AI and other tools as an assistant to do work better for the future. I know the topic was around AI, but based on our discussion earlier, we just thought that we'll share with the audience on the 3 or 4 specific sector of what the future looks like. AI as an ally or a tool assistant as of now, and I would like each of the panelists to speak a bit about that, followed by generative AI, which is the Salesforce ad that you saw, how we use generative AI, which is the most spoken about social media buzzword right now, and how in the future we have distributed workforce and remote virtual teams working together. How does that look like? And in the end, of course, with distributed virtual teams, how do we create more secure platforms, and how individual creators are empowered to create a better creators economy. So maybe we start off with NVIDIA first, Ganesh, and it was an interesting video that you shared with sketches to 3D models quickly done, with images to conceptualize, and also a flowchart in the end, which would be great for the audience to know what NVIDIA is contributing to the space now.
Absolutely. It's on. So, before I get into how do we help you to use the AI best way, let me remove the myth which we currently do in many occasions. Many people think when they think of NVIDIA, they think of a graphic chip, a gaming company, or a gaming processor, or a gaming card, and so on and so forth. But today, NVIDIA is a accelerated computing platform company. When I say accelerated computing, what we do is we do provide you 2 layers for accelerating your work to fulfill your customers' demands. And just fast forwarding onto the AI world, no, another myth that many people ask me in many occasions saying that, "Hey, how did NVIDIA invent AI?" We did not invent AI. AI is there from before even my dad's birth. But we fueled accelerating AI work to fulfill your customers' demands of the futures. So if you look at if you recall the video which was played for 2 minutes there, you saw how the customers were asking, saying that when it comes to, let's say, gaming, people were saying, the customers were, or the users of the gaming were saying that, hey, I want realism. I want to feel the realism. So we bought in technologies like ray tracing, the acceleration on various ways, high density pixel illuminations, and so on and so forth. And the similar way on variety of visualizations. And when you go to an architect today, we say, hey, how do I will tell you what is my requirement in my living room, but can you tell me how the design will look like? Including all these technologies, how do you feel the realism on that? Moving forward to the business also started asking me, hey, can I forecast, can I visualize how my business will look like, or what I'm going to fulfill in the customer's place? And now, again, AI is, as you rightly said, it is an assisted technology for the human being to implement or accelerate the work he wants to do and he has to deliver. So what we help is with the platform called GPU, graphic processing unit, or graphic processing processor, which accelerate along with your CPU processor. It accelerates your work which are parallel in nature, whether it's a graphics or whether it's a compute. AI is no exception to that. AI is a massively parallel compute requirement, or accelerated computing requirement, which fuels that. On top of that GPU layer, what we provide, if you recall the last slide and the last visual on that, what we provide is the complete stack of tools, whether you want to use somebody's pre-created work in AI and reuse it for your purpose, or whether you want to develop from the scratch, or we are provide as a service. So we provide the complete tool which enables you to use the platform called graphic computing processing platform. On top of that, on development or as a user or as a service provider, you can go and enable that. That is my quick few start words. Yeah.
Uh, I'll move on maybe to you first, Shamit, and then we come to my com. So, I mean, Autodesk is de facto in this today's world of any content creation and generation for AVGC. Where do you see in the future with AI coming in as a tool, and the constant fear coming in that, hey, anyone who doesn't even know, let's say Maya, we'll give the name of a software, can make their own models now. Do you see things changing soon? How do you see AI as an assist or an ally rather than a threat? And do you see that being used alongside the tools and the DCCs that you supply to the industry?
So I know many of them since morning have been talking about technology changing constantly. Even Maya, for example, let's say Maya has been there for more than 2 decades, and what used to be there in the like 20 years back is totally different what it is right now. And the technology inside Maya was updated based on the industry needs. Like I'll come to the AI part later, but what I'm talking about is we created almost everything photorealistic output years back. We're using Maya. Now what else do we need? We need performance, because that was the industry demand that, hey, I can do things, but now I want to do the same thing even more faster. So that, why do you want to do faster things is because you can complete maybe a simple word, finish a project, get on to another project, get more projects. The Our post pandemic industry has changed. OTT has come in, more work, more jobs, more VFX, more animation. And that's also one area where we need more faster tools which would perform faster, tools which would deliver faster. That's why we also need something which is real time rendering, because rendering was always a pain and we always knew that it is a time consuming process. Now AI is one step ahead. It People take it as a threat, thinking that, hey, this is going to take my job and things will be automated. What I feel is things would be more easier. Just I don't know how many compositors in the room. When we used to do compositing, we always used to pray, hey God, can we have a button which can do automatic roto, right? We've all asked for it, and it is there right now. That doesn't mean that we asked for something which is which is going to change the world for ourselves. So things will be even more faster, so that we spend more time in creative iterations, and then instead of struggling to get a roto out or any kind of output. So AI is going to change the game, and for same reason we have been working on AI tools for a long to implement inside our technology. Like the even when AI was popular, Flame, for example, that is still one of the most key creative finishing product. And since it we call it as a client facing product, we need things to be even more faster. So rotoscopy was one click. Like you click a person in the crowd, it would automatically create a mat for you, which you can use it for various reasons, for compositing, even relighting. For example, when you've already shot a footage and it's a flat image, you want to change the shadows and you want to give a 3D-ness to relight. It was possible by just one click button. That was AI long back. And even now we are working with Microsoft very closely to implement AI within Maya. It's still in the preliminary stage, but it is happening. We are working on it. And we invest in a lot of technology. We also acquired a lot of technology. At the same time, we invested in one technology which is AI based motion capture. The tool is called as Radical 3D. And it's a very fantastic tool. Radical does not need motion capture sensors and so on. I have used it with my laptop and a webcam, and I just stand in front of the webcam for 10 seconds. It tracks me, and then whatever motion I do, it will capture, go in the cloud, convert it, and give me an FBX. So that's fantastic, right? So that was these kind of things we're working constantly on, and I think in the future also we'll be having more AI based tools to make things faster and easier for end users so that they can deliver more.
I think speed is one aspect of how fast and how multiple number of iterations we can do creatively so that we can collaborate faster. But in order for us to do that, like what kind of solutions does a company like Wacom bring in? And would you like to state a bit about what you're doing about the technologies for the future, Rajiv?
Yeah. So you rightly said speed is everything. So Wacom has been working with various software companies in the past to come out with a solution where we have, especially for India, it is very it can be a big advantage. Demographics, graphics of India. Artists sitting somewhere in Assam or maybe remote area, excellent talent. So collaboration, how is it possible? If you cannot expect each and every artist in every location to have a very powerful machines. And also, even though bandwidth has improved a lot over the years, but still it is not that stable to carry that kind of data remotely. So virtualization is a big can be a big thing in India especially. Though it's not a new thing, the big studios, big companies like Technicolor, they have been using virtualization software since long. It's been a while now, but I think there's a need that it reaches the masses, the entire design communities, entire creative communities. So Wacom has been working very closely, and it's coming out with the it's under beta stage. Very soon it will be more customized toward our community, AVGC, not generic IT, but understanding the pain points exactly. So I think speed as well as powerful machines, both the bottlenecks can be achieved, can be removed with that.
Talking about powerful machines, there is nothing more powerful, I guess, than the new chip that we all got excited from NVIDIA a few weeks back. So, without the computing power, the output of an idea of AI can't be really harnessed to the extent. So, in the future, what do you think is going to be the, I mean, predominantly chip companies, how still NVIDIA is referred to, but along with the chip power, what else is NVIDIA doing to create and enable the community of creators who can individually contribute to this industry?
Absolutely. So they both go in hand, right? One, you create the platform, which is the processors, no, related co-processors or accelerators. In the meantime, you also need to have the tools which can harness these technologies. So if you step a little backwards in the back to the eras, every era people attempted AI to bring AI into the picture of their for their work, but they could not do so for the last prior to last 2 decades, because the computing requirement for just to identify a cat and dog probably was a football stadium size of computing requirement on the traditional computing. So what we did is we quickly and this requirement came from the users of GPU. They said, hey, looks like the GPUs can help me to speed up this work and bring AI into the work. So we repurposed the GPUs, which were otherwise serving the scientific computing, which was simulations, into doing and large neural network simulations. So you have seen in the last 2 or 3 generations of GPUs, we have increased the power of the GPUs, the number of the electronics which we can put into the inside the GPUs, starting from few hundred millions going to multiple billions today. The H100, the latest one, boasts about say 60 billion plus transistors inside that. Now, as we go, there is also a limitation on the physics, right? You can't put in more. Now, when we moved forward in the future requirement, thanks to the invention of generative AI or the content creation or repurposing the large content available there for easing out your work, so that within your cost, uh, the reduction of creation cost will increase the time for innovations. That's what I could understand from you the work of many people. So what we did is, in the future, the requirement of computing is going to be much higher. You might have already seen the works like OpenAI or in the generative AI works demanding tens of thousands or in the hundreds of thousands of GPUs there to do their work. But if you really look at the future, will it be possible to set up that kind of data center by anyone or by everyone who needs it? So the data center side further has to come down, but at the power has to move, and we also have to worry about the carbon footprints and the damages that can create the cost to the environments and so on. So what we did is we also introduced a CPU called the ARM version of the CPU called Grace, and put the CPU and GPU, otherwise which sits on two parts of the server, we put that together into a single chip. That is a new chip which we got called Grace Hopper. And also a dual socket Grace chip, which now you can completely harness the power of these two processors, which is called the CPU, and the coprocessor, which is the accelerator GPU. You can harness the maximum power. They're sitting next to each other and consuming very comparatively much less power, but providing much higher bandwidth for your computation or data processing side of it. So that is the innovation we bought. As we speak, we also, what we did is, on top of it, we also created loads of software stack, be it be for visualization, be it be for computing, be it be for the various further domain applications, which would be gaming, which would be professional visualization, or your complete AVGC industry plus the computing alone industry. So the whole software stack has been rewritten and invented. Today, whether you want to be a consumer of somebody's creation, or whether you want to create your own foundations or your own native models or native work, you have multiple tools available there, whether it's SDKs or whether it's a pre-trained models or pre-trained software tools which are available there. So that is the innovations which we continue to do. And we also, on top of it, we have loads of enablement for developers who can leverage that with various programs like NVIDIA Inception Partner Program and so on and so forth.
Thanks, Harish. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'll quickly throw one into the audience because I hear a lot of chatter, so I'm guessing that you guys know a bit more. So I played 3 ads. Quiz time. So the Messi ad, you guys remember the Messi ad, right? We know Messi, right? I guess. Yes? I'm just checking. High tea is 10 minutes away, so just checking first till away. Remember the Messi ad? So how do you think the Messi character was, the young Messi character was created? Can anyone raise hand? Generative AI. It's a great term. I still don't know what it means and encompasses as one, but who else? Who else? Close. Anyone else? Any new terms? Old terms? Morphing. That's a very old term, but an interesting one. In the end, that's morphing, right? Okay. So the Messi ad was almost 3 years old, and it was built through a computing neural network where we had taken hundreds and thousands of photos and videos of Messi and tried to de-age, the technique called de-aging. Usually we de-age through building a CG model, making a smaller head, but that specific ad did not use any CGI model to build that face, but it was completely driven through data source of photos and videos put together through a neural network. Very pre-generative AI, I would say, age. not really at a generative gen. I mean, I don't think Gen 1 was even out back then. But the speed at which from pre-generative AI to Gen 1 to Gen 2 to now GPT-4 coming in, how do we match up with the speed? I mean, as content creators, we are racing. First time I would say that the content creators are racing against technology as compared to earlier when the creators would always want more from the hardware and software manufacturers, that can you keep up pace. But now I think content creators are really pushing, trying to match up to the speed at which the GPTs are going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So in this, though, there is the risk of individual creators that keeps coming in. And there is one point that we have missed out, but in the way that the technology is growing, more and more people can easily take up any image and make it their own, which we are seeing right now, correct? How many of you guys have seen deepfakes or AIs or characters or sketches being made? So in the future, I think along with the aspect of creating something faster, better, security plays a major part of it. So I think Rajiv had a valid point, and we thought that that's also something to be discussed. How do you see new technologies like blockchain being used to secure artwork that is created from someone individually?
Yeah, blockchain is not new. It has been there for a while now. In our industry, blockchain is still at the surface. It has not gone to the level which it must go in future. So a lot of content is being generated, and there's a constant fear that this artwork, what will be the future of this, how to monetize this in a proper way, how this cannot be copied. So security is extremely important, and we have come long way. Wacom has a history of, long history, expertise in this domain, not in creative, but a different domain which is called signature capturing. So we have been there for almost more than 2 decades in this particular business, where all these sensitive organizations across the globe, they have, Wacom has been working with them to secure the data, how the data can travel from one point to the other, and it is highly secure. And signature solutions, especially how the signature is captured, encrypted in 3 different ways. One is speed, one is pressure, and one is the style of signature. So taking that strong technology where Wacom has developed the expertise, now the future going forward, we are trying to put this in our creative industry. So that expertise, when it goes, so imagine a scenario. I'll take a small example of an artist who creates a beautiful artwork, just like a traditional artwork in a digital form. What traditional artist would do after creating a final work, he will put a signature at the right down corner of the painting, right? So this is sort of his own identity. So in digital, there are so many things can happen, and anybody can do anything, and anybody can claim any artwork right now if it is not secured. So micro marking, imagine a scenario, a digital artwork has been created and the artist just signs at the end, right? And that he can choose, that sign can be invisible, it can be visible, and then that's done. His identity is created already, digital identity. Few pixels are developed which are invisible. They will carry that information. Indexing will be done, recognition, and then it goes to the blockchain, and then it goes to the final platform of NFTs for monetization. And then there's a public domain which is being developed, just like Google search engine. So for this particular, a very simple interface where you can just, anybody can go drag and drop the content to trace the origin of that content. So this is more or less there now. and I think this is the future, and this can change the whole landscape of our industry. Uh, and this is not just for specific certain kind of art, any sort of content. So security with various options, and to the platform till the time it is monetized. Distribution is the key, secure distribution.
No, thanks. I think it's high time that the digital artists have received the due. You can maybe expect in the future the next MF Hussain or next artist being done through an invisible link, which makes the artwork unique. Because I think not having a unique artwork is the basic problem that digital art has for some time till NFT and blockchain came into the picture. So I think we'll look forward to that from the Wacom. Samit, I think we're coming towards the end of the session. Before we open the floor for questions, would you like to have one round of closing remarks on if we had to prioritize and choose that what's the most exciting thing for you as the future technology that you're looking forward to, then what would be it for AVGC?
I think it's collaboration, because it used to be a big problem, because never we thought that M&E industry could work outside a studio in a different location.
Correct.
Different zone, and that was maybe the need of the hour, but certain collaborative tools made it possible, and we could deliver without any hindrance even during the tough times. And we are still doing it, because a lot of people are still working remotely. We have jobs being outsourced, and outsourced jobs being imported here. So I think still, but I haven't seen maybe 60 to 70% of the industry people taking collaboration seriously. Like AI is the thing people are talking about. AI, they want to adopt AI, but collaboration is also one very serious, important thing which people need to take care seriously. And I think that should help big time to everyone and the industry as well.
Thanks, Shabit. And for you, Ganesh, what's your key looking forward to tool when it comes to the future of AVGC technologies?
Yep. We will continue to invent. We will continue to look at the tools which will be helping you to convert or fulfill the customers. No, all this while we were fulfilling the customers' demands, right? Now we are going to the era of fulfilling the customers' wishes or customers' imaginations using AI. Whichever version you call it, as the latest trend is the generative AI. We will be there to support you with the tools and the technologies required to fulfill that. Embrace the technologies, adopt the technologies, and address the concerns as you go along. You can't escape from it, because that is a wave already started. And embrace technologies like generative AI, because that helps you to get more time for innovations. So the creative work, you can leave it to the machines to do it, and you can use the existing creates. What I say is you can extract tens or thousands of minds which are working, the innovations created by them, the contents created by them, you can extract and put into your work, and you can accelerate your work, and NVIDIA will continue to invent on those sides to accelerate your work as we go along. Continue to work with you.
Well, I think as part of the industry, for me, at the mill and from Technical's viewpoint, as earlier in this day, we all discussed that last 10 years was the Indian artist community serving, I would say, the lower end of the spectrum of the craft. But I feel with the new technologies coming in, very soon, lot of redundant tasks can be repeated, have an assist with
Absolutely.
tools like AI in place, so that the craft can grow up and we can start looking at the higher end of creativity.
Absolutely.
Of the spectrum in the entire pipeline.
Absolutely. Now look at the beautiful situation we are at, especially the young crowd here. You don't have to do the repetitive things which is already done for the last few decades. those contents, those creativity is already available somewhere on the net. The beautiful world of connected world there, it is available. Now it gives you definitely more time to bring your own imaginations, your own creativities, your own innovations. It gives you more time. Just and also the new phenomenon of even you don't have to worry about how to code and how to write a software. The software is writing the software, the machine is writing the software. So it's a beautiful world. And live out all the concerns, upskill yourself to make use of these technologies, and move forward with your imagination. This is the time you get the maximum time to put your innovations into work, your creations into work.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Ganesh. I'll open the floor for questions, if any. Can I have a mic there, please? He was waiting.
Working. So this is Tarun Kriplani from Yota Data Center, which is based in Mumbai and Delhi in Noida, set up by the Hiranandanis. My question is for Autodesk. I think last when we spoke, you said Autodesk is working on a model of pay per use for customers. This is in context to smaller content creators, smaller studios who require help to build their ecosystem, and especially training. Training you guys are already doing well in terms of offering, but don't you think so Autodesk should push that envelope and get that expedited, especially with the global scenario right now, to help them? Since the industry has given a lot to Autodesk in the last 20 years, it's time to give back to the industry. Do you think so?
Yeah, thanks, Tarun. We are trying to give back as much as possible from our side, and we definitely take inputs from people like you, the end users. That's why I am here, so that I represent India and SAARC, so that I can take feedback and give it to the global team across. And there is a team who sits and plans out. It used to be token flex, I mean, only for the enterprise customers like Technicolor, DNAG and all. Then we thought, hey, what about the others? So we came out with another model called as pay per use, which is there right now, but we are slowly trying to bring it to the APAC level. Right now, it's been in the beta testing phase. There are a lot of pros and cons, a lot of legality, because it's very easy to say, hey, let's release a certain software price, this, that and all, but there are different tax and other components involved in different countries which needs to be considered too before we implement. So while this is being worked upon, there's beta already going on, and slowly when that is accepted and things, we get the proper result out of it. We have been internally, I can't share the exact dates and timelines, but we have been told that will be coming very soon. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from the audience? There's one at the end, please.
Hi, I'm Gitanjali Sehgal, and it's a very interesting panel and great to hear from all of you. I have a question that with generative AI and also with open source and with so many new startups coming in like Runway, Wonder Studio, Midjourney, and many others, traditional pipelines which were there from Autodesk, Maya, whatever. I mean, how do you guys see them taking over, or will you guys coexist? What is the future of post-production production?
So I assume it is for me.
I would say NVIDIA can also answer. They're trying to do a lot into generative AI. So both of you can tell us. Who is?
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of open source technologies in the market and AI, generative designs and things like that. As I said, we already have a very steady pipeline, steady tool and technology with us already. Now, what we try to do is try to make it even more stronger. Like a couple of years back, I mean, for a long time, we used to be dependent on one tool or maybe two tools to deliver content. But in the past few years we've seen it's a workflow. We need more technology, we need more real-time technology. And what Autodesk did is, we didn't say, hey, if you're using other technology, we are out of it. No, we started partnering with them and make sure that the end users get a better output, get a better workflow, be it Unity, be it Unreal. Even though they do real-time rendering and we also do rendering, we created pipelines between these two softwares so that the end users can easily take the content to another level and deliver output. So yeah, we are working on our technology also. We are trying to build stronger pipeline. We are working extensively on USD, which is the industry standard output workflow right now. We are working heavily on the Material X. So there's whatever industry is now following, we make sure that we are a part of it. And it's not just being a part of it, we also support it extensively after doing a lot of R&D, so that your project doesn't get stopped in between because because of open source, because of incomplete workflow or whatever.
If I may add, as a consumer of like all the terms that you or softwares that you mentioned, I think the reels that you saw from the mill used almost every software or platform that was used to do it. So there's one good example that I always tell my team is, if you look at what digital photography or camera photography did to photography in general, is the stage that we are in. I think the entry barrier is being reduced, which means the pyramid will grow vast and we'll have more and more entrants. I mean, open source 3D softwares have been around for almost 20 years now. It's not new. But seeing something which is a credible, high fidelity, full length feature film out of an open source software still has its own challenges. It's doable. It's not that it's not doable. But the challenge of scale, the challenge of distributed team, the challenge of end to end is many times very restrictive when it comes to open source on its own. The same comes to real time. We have been early adopters for real time. I mean, Technicolor had used real time technologies for a movie as large as Lion King in 2016. And now, again, as new and new softwares are getting in, we are working with Unreal, we're working with Unity, we're working with Autodesk, NVIDIA and AMD, Wacom and others as well. But as an end user, I can just say that for a movie filmmaker, let's say Vishal Bharadwaj, he will still go and get back to his hardcore filmmaking tool. Or you go to a photographer, he will still go and maybe end up with his Canon DSLR for certain, which is very professional output needed for that. Does that mean there is no requirement or industry for other tools? Of course it is. But with time, I'm sure that each of these tools which are there for individual contributor will achieve the scale that is needed for a large studio or for a large filmmaker to make something like what they want to do. But one good thing that has helped is technology has helped collaborate. And I think with that, people who use open source can now easily speak the same language and import and export out of a off the shelf DCC software. So that I feel the best benefit that technology has given is they all talk to each other much better now as compared to, I would say, 10 years before. And then that adaptability of, you build a model in any open source, you can bring it to a Maya, take it to Houdini, bring it out to Nuke, send it out to another software. You can render in one graphic card, but you can compute in another graphic card later, is the revolution that I think this industry has been waiting for. I hope we could answer your question in parts, if not in whole.
Yeah, sure. I would say Vishal Bhardwaj will have 5 endings. Choice.
Well, he did.
That he will be able to do then.
He did an iPhone. He did an iPhone movie, iPhone short for sure. Yeah. Any other questions? There was. Yeah. Can we pass on the mic here, please?
Thank you. My name is Pranav. So we've been talking a lot about AI and how AI is going to help, and I feel great being having a company who's working on content creation. My only question is basically the way you prompt the AI is through a language-based model, and do you think that will flatten out the curve in terms of skill, and talent, because the way you're generating the content is through a language-based model. It's not through a digital creative way, and maybe most of the artists that we worked on do not have that language-based skill to prompt the generative AI to generate something that they probably are visualizing in their mind. So I think there should be some part of training that has to be given to these artists to maybe use the language-based model to generate the kind of content that they want to visualize. Do you
Agree.
think this is?
Yeah, you asked many questions in one question, so
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. I know very well understand that and take it in the good spirit. So first coming to the part of whether in the AI will require the skills will have to go away. No. Generative AI is just a beginning of the generative AI work, which if you look at globally, right? The most advanced the generative AI is in one single language. All right, and so there is a humongous requirement for us to be able to create contents as well as apply that to a generative AI kind of tools to create in the local languages or local contents. So localization, customization to the local requirements is a big thing. Whether it's a AVGC, any part of the AVGC you take, the contents localization is written. So answering second part of your question, whether the designers or the artists have to go and learn the languages, they don't have to, because they but somebody has to do the work of bridging the gap between your text or your speech to be converted into the designer's language. He has to focus on the designing. Somebody needs to help him to put it into the one language. Then the machine takes care of it, putting in multiple languages. That is the beauty, right? So look at this way. You don't have to carve out those work which was otherwise a very tedious work. You converting into overnight into 20 languages, or converting input to be given in any language, so that the artist work is understands any of those languages and translates into it. So that is the beauty of this invention. So make use of the beauty of the inventions and adopt it. And you don't have to reskill the artist. You have to reskill your machine, which is helping the artist to be able to understand what is being asked for.
Well, I mean, from managing a studio perspective, I can just say that with prompts, I know I have more concept artists and more matte painting artists as compared to how many could only draw and skill. So that's an advantage, the way that I look at. But having said that, there are certain softwares and tools which have launched prompting in different languages. I think Adobe launched Firefly with multi-language support. I think a few weeks back. So that also brings in the benefit that we have for local colloquial tones, because prompts basically are what you think, and you have to just write what you think and imagine into a certain word, and then you have to find out what style you have to do. But I do agree, because I'm an amateur prompt artist myself, that I need to be trained. You need to be trained around the right prompts in order to find the best output out of it. Well, I heard that being a prompter, is that the right term? No, right? The guy who's a prompt creator is a highly well-paid job now, as much as there's an artist,
No,
right?
just to extend what you said, generative AI can be put best into work only if the input and output is managed, which is your prompt is the very, very, very important stuff. Otherwise, people, you can already see in people saying that, hey, it throws out garbage. You are the reason for that. You ask for a garbage, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we have reached the end of the session. Would like to again thank CI for the time and all of you being patient enough to hear us through. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, panelists.
Thank you, panelists. We would request Mr. R.K. Chan to hand over the token of appreciation. Would request for a group photograph, please. With this, we come to an end of day 1 for CII Summit FX. Would request everyone to kindly join us for high tea. Would request everyone to kindly join us for high tea. The session tomorrow would begin from 9:45. Would request everyone if you all can seat it by 9 a.m. Thank you and have a good day.